Temple of Herod. The creatures of the vision of Ezekiel and the Book of Revelation are also paralleled in the lion-headed figure of the most popular cult of the Roman Empire, the Mysteries of Mithras, which held numerous beliefs in common with Neoplatonism, Gnosticism, and Hermeticism, and ultimately influenced the formation of Catholic Christianity. It was through the house of Herod intermarriage with the dynasty of the Julio-Claudian Roman emperors, the house of Commagene, as well as with the priest-kings of Emesa, which produced the descendants who developed and spread the cult of Mithraism to the Roman world and contributed to its adaptation to Catholic Christianity. Another famous descendant of the priest-kings of Emesa was the noted Neoplatonic philosopher Iamblichus. 5. Herod, 74-73 BC, c. 4 BC, also known as Herod the Great and Herod I, was a Roman client king of Judea, referred to as the Herodian kingdom. Herod arose from a wealthy, influential Idumean family. The Idumeans were successors to the Edomites who had settled in Edom in southern Judea, but between 130 to 140 BC were required to convert to Judaism. According to contemporary historians, Herod the Great is perhaps the only figure in ancient Jewish history who has been loathed equally by Jewish and Christian posterity, depicted both from Jews and Christians as a tyrant and bloodthirsty ruler. 6. He is known for his colossal building projects throughout Judea, including his renovation of the Second Temple in Jerusalem and the expansion of the Temple Mount towards its north, the construction of the port at Caesarea Maritima, the fortress at Masada, and Herodium. The Second Temple was originally a rather modest structure constructed by a number of Jewish exile groups returning from Babylon, but it was during Herod's reign that it was completely refurbished, and the original structure was totally overhauled into the large and magnificent edifices and facades that are more recognizable to history. Genealogy of the House of Herod. Herod the Great, known for renovation of the Second Temple, ordered massacre of the innocents after a visit from the Magi, plus Mariamni. Alexander, son of Herod plus Glaphyra. Tigranes V of Armenia. Alexander plus unknown. Tigranes 6 of Armenia plus Opgali. Gaius Julius Alexander plus Julia Iotapa, daughter of Antiochus IV of Commagene. Gaius Julius Agrippa plus Fabia. Lucius Julius Ganius Fabius Agrippa. Gaius Julius Alexander Berenicinus plus Cassia Lepida. Julia Cassia Alexandra plus Gaius Avidius Heliodorus. Avidius Cassius plus Volusia Vetia Messiana. Julia Iotapa, Cilician princess. Julia plus Marcus Plancius Verus, Roman senator. Gaius Plancius Verus. Plancia Magna, high priestess of the Temple of Artemis, plus Gaius Julius Cornutus Tertullus, friend of Pliny the Younger. Gaius Julius Plancius Verus Cornutus. Aristobulus IV plus Berenice. Herod Agrippa, king named Herod in the Acts of the Apostles. Close friend of Caligula, plus Cypros. Herod Agrippa II plus Berenice. It was before Agrippa and his sister Berenice that, according to the New Testament, Paul the Apostle pleaded his case at Caesarea Maritima, probably in 59 or 60. Berenice plus Herod of Chalcis, see below. Mariam plus Julius Archelaus. Drusilla plus Gaius Julius Azizus, priest-king of Emesa. Drusilla plus Antonius Felix. Felix and Drusilla frequently met with Apostle Paul. Marcus Antonius Agrippa, died in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius 79 AD. Herod of Chalcis plus Berenice. Aristobulus of Chalcis plus Salome, see below. Aristobulus the Younger. Herodias, connected with John the Baptist's execution, plus Herod Antipas, see below. Herodias, connected with John the Baptist's execution, plus Herod II, see below. Mariam III. Salampsio plus Herod Agrippa. Herod the Great plus Miriam II, daughter of High Priest Simon. Herod II plus Herodias, daughter of Costobarus and Salome I, sister of Herod the Great. Salome, played a role in the death of John the Baptist, plus Aristobulus of Chalcis, see above. Herod the Great plus Maltase. Herod Archelaus. Herod Antipas, known for role in events that led to the executions of John the Baptist and Jesus, plus Herodias, see above. Herod the Great plus Cleopatra of Jerusalem. Philip the Tetrarch plus Salome, after his death she married her cousin Aristobulus of Chalcis. Despite the fact that the destruction of the First Temple was to have been in punishment for the corruption of Judaism by pagan themes, such beliefs nevertheless persisted. Many Jews believed that the fertility of the land and its people, as well as the harmony of the universe itself, was dependent upon the ritual of the revived temple. Edwin Goodenough argues that by the time King Herod the Great proposed the reconstruction of the temple in 20 BC, the Great Temple cultus had become for many Jews an allegory of a Jewish mystery religion. 7. As reported by historian Marcia Keith Scutchard, who traced the influence of the temple cult on Freemasonry, during Herod's reconstruction, only priests who had skills as masons were allowed to work in the inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, where even Herod himself was not allowed to enter. The Holy of Holies guarded the erotic secret of the cherubim wrapped in sexual embrace, mirroring the dying God tradition of the sacred marriage. When Israel fulfilled God's will, the faces of the cherubim were turned towards each other. But when Israel sinned, they were turned away from each other. On the Feast of Booths, or Sukkot, a great fertility ritual, the pilgrims were allowed a glimpse at the cherubim in the Holy of Holies, and then to indulge in an orgiastic outburst of sexual license. 8. The ostensibly monotheistic Jews were exposed to humiliation when the overtly pagan statuary was discovered by Antiochus IV Epiphanes, c. 215 BC, 164 BC, the Syrian king, when he sacked the temple in 168 BC. It what is considered the first case of blood libel against the Jews. The Greco-Egyptian author Apion, 30–20 BC, c. 45–48 AD, stated that when Antiochus entered the temple, he discovered a Greek captive who told him that he was being fattened for sacrifice. A similar accusation was attributed to a certain Democritus, by the Suda, a 10th-century Byzantine encyclopedia of the ancient Mediterranean world, who alleged that every 7 years the Jews captured a stranger, brought him to the temple in Jerusalem, and sacrificed him, cutting his flesh into bits. 9. Similarly, Apion claimed, every year, the Jews would sacrifice a Greek and consume his flesh, at the same time swearing eternal hatred towards the Greeks. 10. Apion's claim probably repeats ideas already in circulation because similar claims are made by Posidonius and Apollonius Milan in the 1st century BC. 11. Apion's accusation is known from ancient Jewish historian Flavius Josephus' rebuttal of it in Against Apion. Josephus also records that Herod completely rebuilt the temple, which therefore became known as Herod's temple. Josephus claimed that while Herod was preoccupied with rebuilding the Jerusalem temple, he favored the related sect of the Pythagorean Essenes. 12. Josephus related that they were regarded by King Herod as being endowed with higher powers. Herod's favor upon them was due to the fact that one of their members named Menahem, who possessed the gift of prophecy, had predicted Herod's rise to royalty. 13. Josephus further recounts how only Jewish artisans were allowed to work on the temple, and the esoteric symbolism of the architecture was considered so sacred that only priest masons were allowed to work on the inner sanctuary, and according to Josephus, over 1,000 priests were trained as stonemasons and craftsmen. 14. Though Herod recruited the Jewish builders of Palestine, he also relied especially on the Jewish artisan guilds of Alexandria, who were renowned for their skills. Saul Lieberman argued that Pythagorean symbolism had an important influence on the temple cult. 15. Example, according to Frederick Conybeare, would have been the Therapeutae of Alexandria, who were closely related to the Essenes. 16.